Hey guys, it's Chris. From real-life sea dragons to rare fish from the prehistoric era, here are 11 of the strangest and weirdest fish ever caught. Number 11. Two-mouthed fish. This strange fish was caught by a woman in upstate New York named Debbie Geddes. She reeled in what appeared to be a fish with two mouths last year in Lake Champlain. When she felt something bite, Geddes got excited. I actually commented, "I hope it's as big as it feels," the Plattsburgh resident told Fox News. "When we got it into the boat, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Two mouths, and yet this fish was healthy and thriving." After capturing a few photos of the fish, Geddes released it back into the lake. Much to her surprise, the pictures went viral on social media, earning thousands of likes and shares within a short time after being posted. Social media users debated over what may have caused the fish's double-mouthed deformation, with Geddes suggesting that a previous injury, perhaps from another fish, was to blame. Others blame pollution, citing Lake Champlain's long-standing ill reputation for more or less being a sewage dump. Number 10. Short-nosed Lancetfish. There was once a boy who caught a sea dragon. At least that's certainly what the photo looks like. The truth is that the boy didn't actually catch a sea dragon. He caught a short-nosed Lancetfish, which is essentially the same thing. This is one of the strangest and most alluring fish found in Alaskan waters. It looks like something birthed from the Twilight Zone. The fish has fanged jaws, huge eyes, a sail fin that makes it look very much like a dragon, and they can grow to be 7 feet long. The Lancetfish is one of the biggest deep-sea fish of all time, living mainly in the Bering Sea of Alaska. As for the kid who caught the sea dragon, not much is really known about where the photograph was taken or what exactly transpired. But he's not the only one to have ever done it. Many people have caught this dinosaur-like fish before, and we don't really know much about these mysterious creatures, other than they have very gelatinous muscles that aren't really that tasty. However, there is another fish that people say looks like a dragon, the pike. A guy in Kazakhstan caught not one, but two pike that actually had horns on their head. Why? Nobody knows, but the locals said they must be mutant due to toxic chemicals found in the water caused by a nearby mine. What did he decide to do? Well, he ate them anyways. Number 9. Monster eel. A monster eel has been fished out of the water in New Jersey, and it's terrifying the internet. This thing is horrendous. It's known as a sea lamprey, and it's basically a giant leech or an underwater vampire. In fact, the photos that have been circulating of this worm from hell are like something out of a sci-fi thriller, specifically one of the Alien movies. But alas, sea lampreys are actually quite common. The guy who caught this giant one was fishing when he saw it slithering through the water and shot it using his bow and arrow. After all, who doesn't take a bow and arrow with them out on a boat? He managed to catch the lamprey and bring it back into his boat to pose with him for some pictures. And you can see that the animal is completely covered in blood, likely from the arrow that was shot through his body, and the blood was probably from its last victim. You can also see that it has the most horrifying teeth in the world. While most lamprey measure 3 feet long, this one is quite a bit bigger. It could be a mutant. Number 8. Giant hammerhead shark. It's not every day you go fishing and accidentally catch a giant hammerhead shark, but that's exactly what happened at Padre Island in Texas, when a fisherman caught a hammerhead shark that measured 14 feet long. Not only is this the catch of a lifetime, it's the shark catch of multiple lifetimes. The shark was caught by a man named Poco Cedillo, who normally releases the sharks after he catches them. However, this particular shark didn't make it. Cedillo and his team tried their best to release the shark back after it was caught, but the poor thing was already dead. It took this guy over 1 hour just to reel in the shark, and so it's no wonder that at some point during those 60 minutes of being dragged out of his home by a large hook, the shark perished. In the end, Mr. Cedillo donated the shark's meat. Number 7. The sea dragon. We already discussed one sea dragon at the beginning that was actually a fish, but did you know that there is indeed a real sea dragon? This is the legit sea dragon, and during an underwater excursion, a marine biologist caught photos of something quite disturbing. Marine biologist Sherry Maris from Australia uploaded a video that she took of a sea dragon caught inside of a plastic bag, still swimming around inside a tangle of underwater grass. The sea dragon is a type of critter related to a seahorse, and you can definitely see where it gets its name from. It's not clear how the animal ended up being caught in a plastic dress, but it's definitely not the kind of catch you want to see beneath the surface of the ocean. It's a grim reminder as to just how polluted the oceans have become. Number 6. Dinosaur fish. Next on the list is something a little less sad and a little more creepy. A fisherman off the coast of Norway recently caught a confusing creature that looks kind of like a dinosaur tadpole. The fisherman was looking for blue halibut when something huge began to tug at the end of his line. It took him about 30 minutes to reel the beast in, and it was roughly 2,600 feet deep. He was then shocked to find the unusual fish that had been tugging at his fishing line. This thing had eyes on its head as big as a squid. While people online were quick to point out that the fish was likely a rare or possibly extinct species, it actually turned out that the kid had caught a ratfish. Ratfish live in deep waters and are relatively harmless, but they are indeed super rare, and they're also super ugly. But according to the kid who caught it, the ratfish was also really tasty, and he knows because he took it home and he ate it. Number 5. A coelacanth. This time we're talking about a real dinosaur. According to a report from Reuters, an Indonesian fisherman and his son just a few years ago actually caught the legendary coelacanth, perhaps the most ancient fish in all of the world. The coelacanth was thought to have gone extinct way back in the day of the dinosaurs, but we've also known for a few decades that that isn't true. These creatures are still alive and they're still swimming through the oceans, but it is incredibly rare to spot one, never mind to actually hook one and pull it into your boat. The fishermen in Indonesia actually kept it in a quarantine pool, hoping to release it back into the ocean, but unfortunately it died before that could happen. If you want to know just how rare of a catch this is, the last documented coelacanth caught by a fisherman was in 1998 in a shark net. They were only rediscovered around 60 years ago. And up until 1938, these fish were believed to have been extinct 80 million years ago. They've had a pretty good run considering some coelacanth fossils date back 360 million years. Number 4. Goblin shark. You've undoubtedly seen the horrifying face of a goblin shark. These creepy things are all over the internet, and they're almost too horrifying to be real. But hold on to your socks because a shrimper actually caught one. According to a report from CNN, the goblin shark was captured by a fella named Carl about halfway through his 18-day fishing trip. His original estimates put the goblin shark at about 20 feet. That's a seriously impressive beast. Goblin sharks typically live around 3,000 feet deep and feed primarily on live squid and fish. And just like the 36-million-year-old coelacanth we just talked about, catching one is ridiculously rare. This was only the second instance of a goblin shark being caught in the Gulf of Mexico. These are not the kinds of sharks that end up on someone's fishing line. In fact, it was such a shocking discovery that even after 50 years of fishing, Carl told news sources he never in his life saw something so horrifying spill out of his net, and all he'd been hoping for was some shrimp. Number 3. Fishing from the balcony. This next strange catch is not so much about the catch itself, but more about the way in which it was made. While most of us would get on a boat if we felt like going fishing, a man in Dubai actually caught a fish from his balcony while locked inside during quarantine. Rather than just sit still and wait to be let out of his house again, he grabbed his fishing gear, threw a line into the river a few stories below his apartment, cracked open a beer, and caught a fish. The video quickly went viral, and it's unlikely the man continued fishing. After all, his neighbors probably didn't appreciate having fish slime splashed across their windows as the guy reeled the fish in from the river. It's a pretty amazing feat though, but probably not something you could get away with every night of the week. Then again, it is one way to avoid going shopping while stuck in quarantine. Number 2. All the fish. A man in North Carolina has caught more strange fish than anyone else. There are some people who are passionate about fishing, and then there's a guy named Steve Wozniak. This guy recently achieved the milestone of catching 1,000 species of fish, and he did this by traveling to 63 countries and 37 states in the US. In his most recent interview, he actually said he was up to 1,008 species. And you should see some of these freaky fish the guy has caught at the end of his rod. Forget about marlin, halibut, and perch. This guy goes to Portugal and catches moray eels. He's even caught the sarcastic fringehead, one of the strangest and most bizarre fish in the world. And he's also caught a parrotfish and a wolffish, both of which are ridiculously rare animals to catch in the ocean. When it comes to strange catches, Steve is the king. He's even claimed 15 International Game Fish Association world records by catching species that had never been previously caught and submitted for record consideration. Basically, Steve is the Tiger Woods of strange fish. Number 1. Sharkhead. Off the coast of New South Wales, a fisherman pulled in something extraordinary. Well, maybe not as extraordinary as it was completely disgusting. This fisherman goes by the name of Jason, and he reeled in about half a shark. Specifically, he caught the front half of a mako shark, nothing but its head. While this is definitely just another day in Australia, it's still an absolutely absurd thing to catch on the end of your line. It's also sparked a serious debate about what happened to the other half of the fish. Whatever took a bite out of the mako shark must have been enormous. And that's because the mako shark Jason caught had likely been 12 feet long and over 1,000 pounds. This is not the type of fish that other fish just bite in half. Some people speculate that it could have been an orca whale, as they have been known to viciously massacre sharks in high numbers. Orca whales are indeed the apex predators of the ocean. However, Jason believes it could have been a tiger shark, as they can grow to be roughly twice the size of a mako. At the end of the day, it didn't really matter what chomped the fish in half. The point is that poor Jason only caught half a fish. Imagine the disappointment when you reel up nothing but a shark head. That's super creepy. Which of these incredible catches would you love to have made yourself? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching and come back soon.